Hi, this is Nathan Losey for MUX Week 3 for the month of September 2014 with my Week 3 video, I think I said. So we're looking at the IMDB application this week, and we are talking about the UX critique here. So first things first, our screen layout. Basically, you're going to see here, and you'll notice it's a little dark in my room. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible to see the screen. My screens are glaring on each other a little bit, though. I apologize for the inconvenience. Basically, the layout here is pretty great when you first fire up the application. You've got a nice, neat layout of just movies that are out in theaters. You've got some headline news, which you can flip through. Basically, everything that they think is real important. My personal thing that I like really a lot about the IMDb, and I talked about in my Week 1 video a little bit, is the fact this persistent search bar that gets to keep toolbar space at the top of the application. Basically, it works to keep you always have the search, so if you need to look something else up, if you have different idea of what you need to be going to, you always have that just right on top. So we've got that as an option, or as far as the layout goes. Then we've got this nicely spaced out area where we've got lists of movies, and you can flip through them. It's kind of similar to the Netflix application if you ever used that as well. But it's pretty well laid out. You've got good use of white space. Things are nicely defined, kept into very distinct categories. There's not really a lot of confusion on what data is being displayed where. As far as ease of control, again, it's pretty useful. Really, one of the only things I could see that would be really a good improvement here is you'll notice that, so we've got our coming soon section, and if you look off to the sides, we don't actually have any too much indicator. We've got this little black thing that to show us that we can scroll, but that's actually a button that does other things. It flips us over to a full screen view. There's really no indicator that you can just tap and drag. It's kind of intuitive, but I think it's assuming a lot of the user they just assume that they're going to be able to touch here and drag, and of course short touch is going to actually open up the movie in question instead. So either like a slide bar maybe could make that a little bit more obvious, rather than having you just use the images. But overall, again, the usability is pretty intuitive, and once we get into like a screen of one of the movies, you'll see we've got a pretty obvious layout. We've got a screenshot, we've got the title and the box art. There we go. You've got a synopsis, and you've got some other information you can just keep scrolling for. You've got a pretty intuitive, list of important actors. So that's all very much up front. This one does not really take advantage of a lot of the multimedia. Now, it mentions a phone in the assignment. This is, of course, not a phone. This is a tablet. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you can get away with skipping out on some of that stuff. I do have the Android version of this as well, which, again, I used in my Week 1 video. And that does not really use any more of the haptic feedback, the vibration on the of the phone any more than the default Android stuff. The keyboard still activates it, but the application itself does not actually have any additional ties into that. Through my searching, I haven't found it really a use for the camera or voice input, again, other than what's built into the platform. So not really a whole lot of use of the multimedia, but this one being pretty informational, there's definitely ways that it could be implemented, but I would have to stretch, and some of it might seem unnecessary rather. This might be a situation where they're trying to keep it simple. This does more or less follow the platform guidelines. Again, like I said, even these scrolling features are similar to other applications on the device. Not a lot of situations here that really that I've seen overlap with the platform device, but I mean, obviously everything clickable is of the size at least big enough for what the guidelines suggest. That sort of thing. You don't have a whole lot of fat fingering. Don't have a lot of links that are going to be hard to get at because of proximity. It's well laid out that way, as suggested by those guidelines. As I mentioned, for ease of use, something to indicate that these side-scrolling is even here would really be an improvement that I could see working for this device. Hopefully I haven't been holding that too low. But otherwise, it's for the most part, it's pretty good. Just the couple of improvements I mentioned throughout the description, but that's pretty much what I've found. My critique of the IMDB application, and we'll see you guys for the last week next week.